Good evening. The power is now back on after a significant outage today that affected thousands.
From Sankofa Square to University Avenue, businesses, homes, schools, and hospitals were without power for some 4 hours throughout the day. CTV's Mike Walker is live tonight with more on how this all started and how people were coping on this hot day, Mike.
Well, Michelle, this was caused by a fire at a transmission station downtown at its peak. More than 1,300 Toronto Hydro customers were without power. Electronic billboards at Yonge and Dundas are blank, some retailers forced to close, and office workers bringing their work outside amid a widespread power outage in the downtown core.
We were in the meeting and then just went poof.
A fire at a Hydro One transmission station near Bay and Dundas before noon, knocking out power to more than 1,300 Toronto Hydro customers at its height. The outage spanning from Dundas to Harbour between Yonge and University.
It's pretty crazy that it's affecting such a big portion of downtown Toronto.
Some office employees say they were told to find other places to work.
They said go home, go work from home. But my laptop is stuck upstairs. They told me I could take the elevator up, but at my own risk. So
the timing couldn't be worse for restaurants that depend on the lunch rush.
Suddenly the lights went out, everything including the Uber orders, and we lost on a lot of customers.
It's the busiest time of day. Hours later and still no power. It's not only the lost business they are worried about.
We have salmon and tuna, right? So if the light does not come back for more than 2 hours, we're going to have to throw everything out.
Sick Kids Hospital says it experienced a temporary power failure, but it has been restored. The Eaton Centre remained open, most stores not affected, but some major retailers along Dundas, including H&M, Best Buy, and Canadian Tire, were left. Toronto Metropolitan University says some of its downtown buildings also impacted, prompting classes and exams to be cancelled.
We have a midterm today, and it was scheduled for like 1:45, but the dean talked to us, and she said it's canceled. So we're all just kind of like wondering what we're going to do now. I want to get it done. Some people are glad for the extra time.
Hydro crews have spent the afternoon assessing and repairing the damage, with power fully restored just after 4 this afternoon. Now, Hydro One says repairs will continue to be made to the equipment at its transmission station in the days ahead. Reporting live, I'm Mike Walker. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. Another day with no answers in the disappearance of a 14-year-old North York girl.
Esther has not been seen or heard from since a week ago last Friday, but search efforts to find her continue. CTV's Beth McDonnell's obtained video that shows the teen on the night she went missing and joins us live with the latest. Beth.
That's right, Nathan. Esther's parents are devastated and terrified. Tonight, the search remains very active, both within the community by volunteers and police. Look closely. This is video of 14-year-old Esther inside Popeyes at Bathurst and Wilson Friday, May 15th. The timestamp 11:49 p.m. The employee tells us the girl asks for the washroom. A few minutes later, she leaves and can be seen walking south. Esther's last known sighting, as reported by Toronto police, comes just minutes later south of the 401 at Bathurst and Hotspur Road at 12:01 a.m.
We have a grid map of where we are sending our volunteers.
Now, as the days stretch on without any sign of Esther, the push to find her is intensifying. This community command post at Wilson and Bathurst is dispatching volunteers across the city. And there's a $25,000 reward for information leading to her safe return.
Toronto residents from all walks of life came forward, and we're here together to try and have this as an incentive if anyone has any information.
Police tell CTV News they have a highly skilled investigative team working on the case full-time. The teen is on the spectrum and also goes by Esty. Sometimes she also likes to be called Sylvia. The latest missing Esther poster says she was spotted downtown on a bus, but officers say they can't confirm that. They say they don't want people to assume Esther is in a particular area based on information that may no longer be current. Meanwhile, a setback. Some of Esther's missing posters are being torn down in different parts of the city. Police say while the reports are upsetting, they aren't necessarily a criminal offense.
Quite concerning and disturbing. It definitely doesn't fall in line with our Canadian values. This is a 14-year-old child that we are talking about. I mean, you wouldn't do that to animal poster.
Esther's parents say the night their daughter disappeared, she left the house without her phone or shoes. They say they followed her to Earl Bales Park, where police stepped in. The command post is still active, and people helping in the search are hoping for the best.
I'm a mom, I'm a grandma, just devastated and want to help, want to do whatever we can. I know that every person counts.
I'm really having a hard time sleeping. I'm also a mother. I have 2 children, and it's painful.
We're worried, but also we are inspired to keep on working. We have a really good feeling that she's safe. She's just out there. So our feeling is hope.
Officers ask any sightings of Esther to be reported to police immediately. There is a tip line at 647-355-4148. Police say they have the resources to conduct a thorough investigation and are asking people to continue giving tips. They say it could be the smallest detail that could help locate Esther. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Nathan and Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Beth. Time now for a first look at the forecast, and what a forecast. Look at this shot of our waterfront. Boats, planes, everybody out enjoying these conditions. And the heat along with the sunshine today. It sure feels like summer. Lindsay Morrison is here with a look at the current conditions. Some people feeling like this was long awaited. Others, I've heard people say too hot.
Too hot too soon, Michelle. And if that's you watching at home right now, I do have some good news. We are going to cool down a little bit as the week goes on. But for the heat lovers, this is pretty nice and welcome. 27 degrees right now, feels like 29 at Pearson Airport. It's been warm right across the southern portion of Ontario, thanks in part to some pretty breezy winds out of the southwest today. They've been especially gusty around Owen Sound and in through Muskoka today. On the satellite and radar, we've had mainly sunny skies, seeing a bit of an increase in cloud cover across southwestern Ontario. Tonight's low about 15 degrees. That's mild, but when we look at our upper air pattern for the next few days, we do see some cooler conditions returning just in time for the weekend. Lots to talk about in your weather forecast. It's all coming up, but for now, Nathan, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Still ahead, time for a name change. Mississauga Sports and Entertainment Centre looks for a new naming partner after its deal with Paramount Fine Foods reaches its expiration date. A man's been arrested in connection with a murder in Cabbagetown. Police were called to a home near Dundas and Seton Street shortly before 9:30 Saturday morning. Officers found a person who was unresponsive in the garage. They were eventually pronounced dead at the scene. On Monday, 30-year-old Boubacar Dembele was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. He made a brief court appearance this morning.
A 37-year-old man riding a motorcycle was killed in a crash early this morning on the Bayview Extension.
CTV's John Musselman has the details.
The latest deadly crash happened just after midnight on Bayview Avenue near Pottery Road. Police say a 37-year-old man was pronounced dead on the scene after his southbound motorcycle crossed the center line and struck a car heading northbound. And on Monday, a 42-year-old man was critically injured when a car made a left turn into a driveway and struck a motorcyclist near Markham Road and Nugget Avenue. The motorcyclist was rushed to hospital, but he did not survive. Sergeant Kerry Schmidt with the OPP says the warmer weather means more motorcycles are on the road and everyone needs to pay attention.
We just need people to understand how important it is for you to look again. Anytime you're making a turn, changing lanes, there could be bicycles, there could be motorcycles, a lot of electric e-scooters, and they move quickly in city streets as well. They come up to you quickly, and if you make a turn right in front of them, they may not have any escape.
Here's a look at the numbers. So far, there have been 6 fatal motorcycle accidents on Ontario roads this year. There were 47 last year and 57 in 2024. Former Toronto Police Safety Officer Sean Shapiro, who now hosts the Traffic Safety Podcast, said speed is generally a key factor involving motorcycle fatalities, but motorists making bad decisions is also a key issue.
There's a number of things going on. One, the weather is just nice enough now that bikes are coming out on the road, and the drivers who haven't been looking for motorcycles forgot that they existed. So now they're small vehicles that are harder to see if you're not paying attention, and very often with a single headlight look like a vehicle, like a car or truck, that's much farther away. Instead, they're a vehicle that's much closer, and it's just being mistaken for something that it's not. And nothing at all replaces experience. A lot of new riders, a lot of people who are occasional riders, they don't have proper training. Getting an accredited course is a great way to be safer on the road.
Police say the cause of the accident on Bayview Avenue is ongoing. Anyone with information is asked to contact Toronto Police. John Musselman, CTV News.
Meanwhile, a motorcyclist has been sent to hospital following a crash in Vaughan. This happened just after 2 p.m. in the area of Keele and Langstaff Road. The motorcycle rider was taken to hospital with serious injuries, while the driver of the SUV suffered minor injuries. The cause of the crash remains under investigation.
Meanwhile, a cyclist was sent to hospital after being struck by a vehicle near Bayview and Gerrard. This happened around 7 this morning. The CTV News chopper was over the scene. Now, the cyclist was taken to hospital with serious injuries, while the vehicle involved remained at the scene. The circumstances leading up to the cyclist being struck is still under investigation. There's been another arrest in connection with an alleged sexual assault ring exposed by a W5 investigation. Hamilton police allege Gilles Richard arranged sexual encounters with adult victims, drugged them without their knowledge, and sexually assaulted them while they were incapacitated. They say this arrest is connected to an investigation into another man, Brian Hayward. He's facing dozens of charges, accused of being involved in a network of men who secretly drugged and filmed their intimate partners and shared those videos online. At least one other suspect in Switzerland was arrested last year following the W5 investigation.
The city's fire chief says 2 recent fires at a recycle plant in North York were caused by lithium-ion batteries. There were 2 fires at the facility on Ashwarren Road near Keele and Shepherd. The first broke out at the recycling plant last Thursday in a large pile of scrap. The second happened Sunday night. No injuries were reported as a result of either fire. Chief Jim Jessup says the frequency and the intensity of the battery fires is increasing, along with the risk to the public and firefighters.
Legislation passed today that allows the province to create a standard code of conduct for municipal councillors. The law also includes penalties for violating the code, including removal and disqualification from office for serious incidents. Municipalities and advocates have long called for stronger consequences for councillors who break the rules, including workplace harassment. Ontario Municipal Affairs Minister Rob Flack says he hopes to have the new rules in place before the October municipal elections.
The Premier was asked today about recent incidents involving coyotes in Markham. He says he's not considering a cull, but he's also had encounters with them at his home in Etobicoke. A public safety alert has been issued in Markham following 2 recent coyote bites, including one that injured a 4-year-old child at Bruce Boyd Parkette. Police tell residents to be extra cautious in the city's green spaces, especially with their pets and children. The city of Mississauga says it has temporarily renamed the Paramount Fine Foods Centre after terminating its contract with the restaurant company. The city says it terminated the contract with Paramount over a lack of payment, saying it is owed $1.6 million. The city released a statement saying it will be pursuing legal action in the coming weeks to recoup the costs. The facility near Kennedy and Matheson will be called the Mississauga Sports and Entertainment Centre until a new naming partner is found. The city says it's also taking over food operations, and all scheduled bookings will continue as planned. However, Paramount Fine Foods owner Mohammed Fakik says he has a team working on negotiations, and the city is misrepresenting the situation. The statement reads in part, "I am hopeful their efforts are not wasted by the inexplicable decision of city management to announce without notice and in the middle of negotiations a one-sided and misrepresentative version of the partnership's ending several days prior to its end. This raises serious questions about city management's motivations."
The Toronto Waterfront Festival has been canceled for this year. The move was made because of what organizers say are funding challenges and pressures related to the FIFA World Cup. Organizers say the decision to cancel the festival wasn't made lightly, but they're not in a good position financially to put on a successful event. They also say the World Cup resulted in considerable competition for corporate sponsorship. The Toronto Waterfront Festival is expected to return in 2027 with another appearance by the world's largest inflatable rubber duck.
Early registration is open for residents who want to sign up for free summer programs at their neighborhood rec center. Mayor Olivia Chow met with residents at the York Recreation Center on Black Creek Drive this morning. Eligible residents can sign up for programs at most community centers before people who live outside their neighborhood are able to register next week.
And in the past, only 3 out of 10 registrants are from the neighborhood. Since we started this program, 7 out of 10 are local residents, which is really important because these free programs are really designed for areas that some of the folks in the neighborhood may not be able to afford to pay.
Registration for older adult programs opens Monday, while residents in Etobicoke and East York can sign up for summer programs next Tuesday. North York and Scarborough registration is set to begin Wednesday, June 3rd.
Canada is bringing in stricter measures in response to the Ebola outbreak in parts of Africa. The outbreak has resulted in more than 220 deaths and over 900 suspected cases. Starting Saturday, all travelers will be assessed by border officials. Those who have symptoms will be transferred to hospital for further assessment. In addition, some travelers from Ebola-affected regions will be required to self-isolate for 21 days. Immigration authorities are also temporarily suspending decisions on applications from the Democratic Republic of Congo, South Sudan, and Uganda. The Public Health Agency of Canada says the measures are being implemented out of an abundance of caution and will stay in place until August 29th.
CTV News has confirmed former Environment and Climate Change Minister Stephen Guilbeault will resign as a member of Parliament. The move is over his concerns about the Carney government's rollback of climate policies. One concern, according to what 4 federal government sources have told CTV News, is the most recent iteration of the Memorandum of Understanding with Alberta aimed at building a new pipeline. Guilbeault tells CTV News he will tell the Liberal caucus about his decision on Wednesday. He had served as the Minister of Canadian Identity and Culture until November, when he resigned from cabinet, saying that for him, environmental issues would remain front and center.
In the Middle East, Israel is deepening its operations in Lebanon. The Israeli Prime Minister says the military is operating with large forces in the field and is fortifying a self-declared security zone several kilometers inside southern Lebanon. Israel launched 120 airstrikes today in one of the heaviest days of bombing in weeks. 12 people were killed in the eastern part of the country overnight. Israel is intensifying its assault on what it says are Hezbollah militants. The group says it has attacked Israeli forces advancing toward a southern town.
Elsewhere, the U.S. Secretary of State insisted today the Strait of Hormuz must remain open one way or the other. Hours earlier, American forces struck boats and missile sites in Iran, saying it was done to protect its troops from military threats. Tehran calls the action a violation of the nearly 7-week-old ceasefire. This was the second day of the Hajj in Saudi Arabia, where Muslim pilgrims engaged in intense prayers, seeking mercy and blessings. Thousands of people climbed a rocky hill on Mount Arafat to mark the spiritual peak of the Hajj. It's where Muslims say the Prophet Muhammad delivered his farewell sermon. Men dressed in white and women wearing full-length garments will be at the plains of Mount Arafat until sunset, praying and asking God for forgiveness. More than 1.5 million people traveled to Mount Arafat to take part in these sacred rituals on what is considered the holiest day in Islam.
Coming up, the race is on to rescue 1 million meals. Second Harvest launches a nationwide push to keep food out of landfills and get it onto plates. How 100 ambassadors are using the next 100 hours to help tackle food insecurity.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, no one likes it when an appliance breaks down, and you may have to call a company to fix it, but be careful who you hire. A woman says she's being asked to pay close to $1,700 to repair her $1,000 stove. I'll have that story just ahead.
Well, whether you're headed to the ball diamond, the cricket field, or the soccer pitch, it's looking like another lovely evening here in the GTA. And if you're going to a slightly bigger baseball game tonight, the Dome is once again open for the Blue Jays. Tomorrow, another day of sun and another day of warmth. We should make it to a high of about 26 degrees. Might feel a little more comfortable thanks to some northerly winds, which will make it less humid overall. And considering how soggy it's been this spring, we look to be dry through the remainder of May. We'll show you how the weather's looking for the first few days of June coming up here on CTV News. Stay with us.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
It can be frustrating if you have an appliance break down, and it seems with some models, they don't make them like they used to.
If you need to have something repaired, the cost can escalate quickly, especially if the problem is not diagnosed properly the first time. Here's Pat Foran with a consumer alert. Pat.
Thanks, Michelle and Nathan. A woman contacted us after her oven quit working. She called what she thought was a local repair company, but after spending $800, the oven still didn't work, and the company wanted another $800 to fix it.
It's not working. No heat whatsoever.
Louise Renwick of Markham says in early May, her 4-year-old oven quit working. She called Samsung, but then decided to go with what she thought was a local repair company. A technician came to her home and charged her almost $800 to change a temperature sensor, but the oven still wouldn't turn on.
So I said, oh, just a minute. I don't think it's working. So I tried it, and it's exactly the way it was before he came in.
She was then told it was the oven's main board that needed replacing. They offered a 10% discount on the part, but with taxes and labor, repairs would be more than what she paid for the stove in the first place.
They won't come back unless I agree to pay another $800 on top of the $800 I've already given them.
She hired the A-Team Appliance Repair, which was the first company to pop up in a Google search. On the invoice, it says A-Team Appliance Repair works out of this building in Markham, but the security guard said they left 5 months ago. Our emails to the company were not returned. When we called them, they hung up.
Thank you for calling Appliance Repair Team.
Hello, Lisa speaking. How may I help you today?
Hi, it's Pat Foran calling from CTV News. We're just trying to speak to someone about a complaint. Hello?
That is a very high number of complaints.
The Better Business Bureau says in the past 3 years, there have been 732 complaints filed against the company, and they've been given an F, the Bureau's lowest rating. There's a pattern of complaints.
Consumers are alleging that the company is unable to properly diagnose and repair the appliances effectively, and the cost of repairs are grossly inflated.
The BBB suggests checking its website for reviews, calling a manufacturer directly, and to realize some companies pay Google to be the first to pop up in online searches. As for Renwick, she's putting her money towards a new stove, not more repairs.
I can buy a new one for $1,200. That's better than this stove.
And you can check your owner's manual as well for a number to call if you need service. Also, if the cost of a repair is more than half the price of a new appliance, you may be better off replacing it instead. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
Dozens of elderly people say they've been forced to pay big bucks for shoddy renovations, all thanks to a financial instrument that was supposed to be eliminated in Ontario years ago.
As CTV's John Woodward reports, the NDP is proposing a fix.
This is the kitchen they done.
Stephen and Catherine Johnson say they were promised renovations by contractors going door to door.
They were supposed to put all this in. That was here when we bought the house.
The retired 67 and 72-year-olds say they never got their new bathtub. The appliances weren't the ones they ordered. And as for their kitchen flooring,
got that big crack in there.
It was just laid down on top of their old linoleum that they can see through a crack. They say it was 3 days' work. The total cost for all of this, over $100,000.
I wouldn't even give them a nickel for that stuff.
The Johnsons didn't want to pay, but the financing company, Alternative Financial Group, put what's called a lodgement on their home. That means they can't sell their house unless they pay up with interest.
Makes us feel rotten.
They're not the only people whose deals are enforced through lodgements. The Advocacy Centre for the Elderly, or ACE, has been keeping track of dozens of cases, some where the work done is as much as $40,000, even though the item can be bought for only a few $100s. Court documents allege the contractors often come back for more. In one case, multiple $40,000 charges in a row.
We don't know the total number of people impacted, but we would expect it's in the hundreds, if not thousands.
Ace alleges the person behind Alternative Financial Group is someone you've seen before, Anas Ayub, who posted videos to social media of himself living the high life. His lawyer answered our questions by saying no comment. Ayub was among those charged criminally in 2024 in what the OPP called a door-to-door sales fraud using a similar financial instrument called a nosy. Ontario's government wiped all of those nosies off the books 2 years ago. New lodgements were banned, but older ones are still enforceable.
All of the lodgements that we've seen that were registered by this company that were registered just before the deadline hit that the land titles office had said you can't register after this date.
Thousands of these lodgements still are out there.
The NDP's Tom Rakocevic says those lodgements need to go too.
We in the NDP are going to be tabling a bill very soon to delete and expire all lodgements from the land registry here in Ontario.
The Johnsons hope that can happen soon. They don't want to have to pay anyone for work like this. John Woodward, CTV News.
There's a hole over there.
All right, to the forecast. You know, one of those lovely days where you could wear shorts in the morning, afternoon, and even in the evening.
You could wear a bathing suit, Nathan. People are swimming. This is spectacular weather for a Tuesday.
And finally, about time, right? May has brought us a couple of 30-degree days. Yes, days even warmer than this, but it's also brought us a fair amount of cool, rainy weather. And so whenever we can squeeze out a day like this, I think so many people are pleased. And here's the great thing about this week. It's not just one day. We are in for a beautiful run of sun that's going to last through the weekend. And we're also going to become a little more comfortable temperature-wise, a little cooler. Let me show you where it is not cool today, and that is, once again, in parts of the UK. There is a heat dome over this part of Europe, and temperatures were sweltering again today. So yesterday, London broke its all-time May temperature record. They did it again today, making it to 35 degrees. Of course, in parts of the UK, not everyone has access to air conditioning. So a pretty uncomfortable one. People were working hard to beat the heat. And it wasn't just the UK today. Also, other parts of Europe are sweltering as well. Let me show you some of today's highs that were reached. 35 degrees at both London Heathrow and Kew Gardens. We'll take a little journey to Paris, where it was 32 degrees today, and Madrid, Spain, 32 as well. Of course, the temperature has cooled somewhat as it is nighttime there. But yes, that heat dome not moving anywhere all that quickly. And believe it or not, our weather here in Canada is influencing some of that weather in Europe. We've got an omega blocking pattern, and we've got heat on in the Canadian prairies. We're tapping into some of that warmth. In fact, look at that. We've now climbed to 28 degrees here in the city of Toronto. So we've reached that point in the season where we are reaching our daytime high around 6 p.m. sometimes. So still quite warm out there, still quite enjoyable if you want to venture out and enjoy the sun before it sets a little later tonight. Overnight, we look to drop to about 15 degrees, which is still above seasonal. Mainly clear skies. Tomorrow, it's going to be quite warm in the morning, and we expect to make it to an afternoon high of about 26 degrees. Yes, it's still going to feel like 30, but here's the thing. We're going to have more of a northerly wind tomorrow. Today, we had a southerly and southwesterly. That northerly wind should make it feel a little more comfortable. And then by the time we get to tomorrow evening, you'll likely notice a bit of a cool down. But again, still pleasant over the next couple of days. Tomorrow's highs right across the board on average are a degree or two cooler tomorrow than they were today, but still very pleasant. 25 degrees in places like Ajax and Caledon. That's what we're forecasting. Slightly cooler in Gravenhurst at 22, and 26 is the expected daytime high in and around Perth. Bit of an increase in cloud cover has been happening from Hamilton over toward London and south toward Windsor, but again, we're still enjoying a beautiful blue sky here in the GTA. These areas of low pressure are being driven away from southern Ontario. So in addition to it being warm, it's also quite dry over the next few days here. Again, perhaps a welcome change for so many. Simply setting the forecast radar in motion will show you a lack of rainfall as we make our way into the weekend. That's great news for those who are hoping to maybe spend some time outside this weekend. And as we take a look further into the weekend as well, we're going to notice a slight change in temperature also. So there is a look at Thursday and Friday. Seasonably cooler with highs of around 23 degrees, just a hint of humidity those days. And then for Saturday, Sunday, Temperature around 20, 21 degrees, which is seasonal. It's looking like the early days next week we could dip into teen temperature territory as we welcome the month of June. Yes, that is a little cool for this time of year, but look at the stretch of sun, or at the very least a mix of sun and cloud. It continues right into next week. That's your look at the weather. It is National Accessibility Week, and we are shining a spotlight on accessibility. Here's a look at how Ability Centre in Whitby is shifting mindsets to make inclusion the norm and not the exception.
Accessibility is more than just a box to tick. You know, when we just do that, we miss out on so many great things. Sure, it's about ramps and railings, but it's also about people. It's about technology. It's about policy. It's the language we use, the environment we're creating both online and in person. When we do that, that's when accessibility really hits home. That's when we're truly inclusive. Okay, Mubina, as the manager of all things training and education here at Ability Centre, you see so many different places throughout Ontario. What are some things, some real easy things that can make an environment more welcoming and inclusive?
So one of the things that is easy to notice is when a space has been intentionally created to be accessible rather than an afterthought. And it's so important so that you have enough space to navigate it. You're not looking at, oh, can I fit through there? Can I not fit through there? It's just seamless for you. And that just makes me feel more welcome and, feel like I belong there.
So if I'm a Canadian business owner, what is one simple, maybe cost-effective thing that I could do to have an immediate impact to being more inclusive?
So one of the key things is training when it comes to accessibility. When we train our people, we're now changing things from being theoretical to practical, because now you're able to help people understand, what does accessibility mean? What can they change in their behavior so that now everything is seamless for them? They can ask questions, they're not making assumptions, and they're truly creating that culture of welcoming and belonging for everybody.
Seems like we have a long way to go, but with people like you leading us, we're taking one step at a time.
Yes, we are, definitely.
Mindful design lives in the details that most people overlook. Decisions get made every day, big and small. But it's once you start looking through a lens of mindful design, the world looks very different.
Iron deficiency affects more than 10% of the population in Canada.
And while iron supplements have typically been hard to take, as CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan tells us, newer treatments are available.
Francine Joseph says she was always tired and cold.
Anyone who knows me knows that I have a scarf around me in the office or even walking, even in summertime. So that was one of the symptoms as well.
But then after the birth of her daughter and 2 separate car accidents, her symptoms intensified in 2017.
I was getting constant migraines, feeling super dehydrated, super weak. So my doctor, she ordered me more tests. And then at that point, we realized it's actually iron deficient.
Iron deficiency is one of the most common causes of anemia. And certainly as a primary care physician, it's something I deal with multiple times a day. Females who menstruate are typically, struggling with anemia.
In fact, 40% of menstruating women suffer from low iron, and it's not just women.
Crohn's and colitis, dietary changes, there's a whole slew of other medical conditions that can cause your iron to be low.
Dr. Christine Palme says low iron can cause fatigue, memory, and concentration problems.
Long-term consequences are cardiovascular complications. You can develop skin changes, nail changes, hair loss, things like that. So much more common than one would think, and certainly something that as primary care we often miss.
Adding iron-rich foods to your diet is a first step.
Step 2 is pharmacological treatment, and there's many things that are available over the counter. And in some cases they work, but they also come with side effects. Many patients can't tolerate the gastrointestinal side effects related to the medications.
But Francine is on a new medication. Acrufer is the only oral iron therapy prescription approved in Canada. She takes that twice a day, and 4 times a year she goes in for iron transfusions. Dr. Palme calls Aquifer a game changer for patients who had severe side effects before.
Point being, patients have a wide variety of options, and just because one fails, go back, try another one.
And for Francine, it's allowing her to enjoy life like never before. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A new wellness report from Manulife Canada suggests burnout is leading to major losses in productivity. The report states burnout is responsible for productivity losses adding up to 46 working days per employee every year. It says fatigue, stress, and burnout are impacting employees' focus, meaning workers are still showing up but contributing less. 80% of respondents say work contributes to their current mental state, with nearly 6 in 10 saying mental health challenges impact their ability to do their jobs. Manulife is recommending employers make benefit programs easier to access and use.
Some of the most important things to do, and what we've seen employers do, is actually provide access to solutions. So by investing in benefits, by providing solutions for employees to get the care when they need it, they've been able to actually enhance and support their employees when they're having challenges. The second part of that equation is actually making it easier to access the support that is there. So absolutely, one part is providing the benefits, and 2 is making easier to get the access.
Second Harvest launched its Race to Rescue campaign today, aiming to eliminate food waste in Canada. According to Second Harvest, 1 in 4 people in Canada don't know where their next meal will be coming from. At the same time, 46.5% of food in this country is wasted. The Race to Rescue campaign is working with 100 ambassadors, including CTV Toronto's own Michelle Dubé, to try and raise money to rescue 1 million meals in 100 hours. We spoke with another ambassador, Chef David Schwartz, about the initiative.
As chefs, we're always designing dishes that have as low impact and low waste as possible. I walk by Fort York Food Bank every day. I've walked past every day for the last 5 years. I've seen that line grow continuously. So to see Second Harvest put an initiative like this together, I'm happy to be a part of it, and I'm excited that they're doing it.
Other ambassadors include Chris Hadfield, Shania Twain, Mitch Marner, and Maddie Matheson.
After the break, Honda Indy tickets are a go as the Roar on the Lakeshore goes north to Markham.
We have a closer look at how in debt Canadians were as the year began, courtesy of Equifax. BNN Bloomberg's Mirella Fernandez has more.
Equifax puts total consumer debt at about $2.7 trillion, and that is up almost 4% from last year. Insolvencies are up almost 19% in the first quarter of the year compared to the same quarter in 2025. They are at a level not seen since 2009. But there are some positive trends. Fewer new credit cards are being printed, as signed consumers are spending less and saving more. And the number of Canadians missing at least one credit payment is stable at 1 in every 21 consumers. Space stocks are hitching a ride on the coming IPO of SpaceX. Investors hyped about Elon Musk's company going public, which is expected to happen in June. Today, space and satellite stocks soared, with Canadian satellite and robotics firm MDA Space gaining almost 5%. Bombardier stock spiked early in the day after the private jet maker announced it's selling jets to Australia. They'll be used to patrol the country's border. The selling price for the 3 Global 6500s hasn't been shared. Bombardier has been working to grow its defense business. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 72.40. West Texas Intermediate is down to 93.89. Western Canadian Select is unchanged at 78.22, and the TSX lost 177 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Mirella Fernandez.
Tickets for the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy go on sale today as the race heads north of Toronto for the first time.
Markham, start your engines. The Indy race is coming to our city.
Markham Mayor Frank Scarpitti made the announcement last September that the Roar on the Lakeshore would be moving to his city this summer. Mayor Olivia Chow stated it would not be possible for Toronto to host both the FIFA World Cup and the Indy on the exhibition grounds this summer, but the city intends to have the race return in the future. The Indy in Markham will run from August 14th to the 16th.
The Toronto Blue Jays are back in action, looking for a better result after last night's series opener against the Pirates.
Bunch of swings and misses already. This one is popped up. Jimenez out. Pinion go in, and he doesn't catch it.
There were some defensive miscues by the Jays during Pittsburgh's 8-2 win at Rogers Centre. Ernie Clement hit a solo homer for Toronto, which has now lost 2 in a row. The Jays send Braden Fisher to the mound tonight.
Training camp opened today for Canada's men's soccer team ahead of the World Cup.
Yeah, how much do you set up the next play? Yes, boom, good noise, good.
Head coach Jesse Marsh has 4 days to evaluate the group before the final 26-man roster will be revealed on Friday night. 32 players have been invited to camp in Charlotte, North Carolina. The coaching staff is looking to integrate several players who've been dealing with injuries back into the lineup before the World Cup begins. The players say everyone is ready to get to work this week.
I think we're all going to push each other as much as possible to try and make that roster. But, you know, like I said before, this group is really selfless. This group really just wants what's best for this team. And whoever ends up making that roster, we're all going to be there supporting each other for whoever didn't.
Actually, I think we got through quite a bit. Again, today wasn't a crazy day with so many guys flying in. The next 2 days are going to be a bit bigger.
When training camp finishes, the team plays 2 friendlies next month in Edmonton and Montreal. Canada opens the World Cup June 12th at Toronto Stadium against Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Just ahead, no equipment, no problem. Sports gear at Brampton Parks is now just a tap away and free. How the city is getting more kids in the game, coming up.
Who says barbecue is just for meat lovers? The Hogtown Vegan is turning up the heat with savory, smoky, and satisfying dishes. Here you'll find vegan comfort food done right, serving Southern-style plant-based classics for more than a decade. Come inside with me as we discover what's on the menu. All right, Jordan, thanks for having us here today. This looks absolutely incredible. Tell me a little bit about the Hogtown Vegan. Like, what's the vibe here on a regular night?
Vibe here on a regular night? Well, we have an extensive customer base. They've been with us for some of them over a decade, and they never seem to get tired of the food. So I'm happy about that.
Really kind of comfort
food, southern, plant-based southern twist.
This looks awesome.
So this is our pulled unpork mac and cheese. Our pulled pork is my personal favorite item on the menu. We have it in a number of dishes. We have a soy pork nacho, pulled pork sandwich, and our lovely pulled pork mac and cheese combines the flavors of our cheese and our pork.
It's beautiful too.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. I eat that pretty much every day. Can't lie, can't lie. This is our spicy espresso brownie made with real espresso and our in-house whipped cream and our in-house caramel sauce.
Toronto's vegan barbecue scene is proof that both flavors don't need meat. Spots like these will leave you full, satisfied, and wanting more. Full detail at cp24.com.
Now to a new program aimed at giving everyone in Brampton access to athletic equipment.
The city's launched a series of equipment lockers in parks that will allow residents to play ball even if they don't own one. CTV's Sean Leathong has more.
It has everything you need to get in the game. These lockers set up in 30 Brampton parks are offering free sports equipment to anyone who wants to play.
We want to make sports accessible for everyone. So it's literally a box with sports equipment, basketballs, volleyballs, soccer balls in our 30 busiest parks.
Using an app on your phone, you can just punch in your location, borrow the equipment inside, and play.
I want them to be used. I want our parks to be busy. No matter what sport you love, I want kids to be active.
The City of Brampton teamed up with the Sport Equip app and the Canadian Tire charity Jumpstart, who launched the project.
We know that the cost is the #1 barrier to participation for many kids in communities across the country.
There we go. The program has already been launched in Ottawa as well as Vancouver and Surrey, BC, and the results show an average of 3 kids using each piece of equipment for more than an hour on each rental.
So the numbers are astronomical in terms of what they're doing for participation rates in the heart of communities that are predominantly deprived.
When you're done, you just put it back. And if you're wondering how often the equipment gets stolen,
it's the number one question we get. And I can tell you hand over heart that we have had 1 piece of equipment stolen since last July when these were deployed in Surrey, BC.
With Jumpstart committing to replace anything that gets lost.
We got high hopes for this.
The idea originated in Europe from a think tank sponsored by the International Olympic Committee. Results there have been positive, with more expected to come this way soon, getting more kids in the game. Sean Leathong, CTV News.
What a great idea to get kids involved playing.
Right? You don't always have a ball. And honestly, if you're going to play ball, frisbee, whatever, you got to bring water too because it's hot.
And I think you will have a ball tonight out in the conditions. And waking up tomorrow morning, it's also going to be quite mild. So this is your morning start forecast. Temperatures already in the teens early tomorrow morning. And so you might think twice about bringing the jacket. Although tomorrow night you might want a light jacket if you're heading to Bruno Mars. But I think we can all agree this is a much better forecast than what concert goers experienced over the weekend. Your next 3 days look like this. Slightly cooler conditions into Thursday and Friday, and even cooler for the weekend, but pleasant with sunshine into next week. Michelle and Nathan.
What a stretch. Thank you, Lindsay. That's it for us, but be sure to join Anne-Marie Medawake tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Allman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here, thanks for watching and have a great night.